We feel like the Gemini 1x1 hards kind of sell themselves. They are extremely versatile. It's been the perfect solution for our needs in the studio, but yet we've also used them out in the field in a lot of different scenarios and just haven't found a place where they're not incredibly useful. So the purpose for this studio is primarily internal training and some internal messaging marketing. We also use it from time to time for conversations, interviews, podcasts, things like that that are happening for the client. The traditional fixtures, they were doing the job. The things that we were getting out of the studio looked good. It took a lot of work every time we walked in the room to get it to that point. Every time we turned on the studio, the lighting in the studio, we had bulbs that were out. We had fixtures that were out. We had color shift that was happening. Even though we would change all of the bulbs at the same time, they all still looked like they were a different color. There are a few things that we were going for when we decided to make the changes for lighting in here. One was the power draw. With the old fixtures, figured that we were pulling in the neighborhood of 70,000 watts every time we flipped the lights for the studio on. Now we're down to 4,000 watts with the Litepanels 1x1 hards. That was a huge, huge help for our client, obviously utility bills and whatnot, but the other thing that makes is the room feels nicer because there's not as much heat coming off of these fixtures. Something else that we realized after the fact was the noise floor was much lower with the 1x1 hards than it was with the traditional fixtures. We had evidently some good white, brown, whatever the noise was coming out of the traditional fixtures. When we got the 1x1 hards in here, it is so much quieter. We were planning to put around 8 fixtures on each 20 by, which would then allow us to have a couple of extras just to run around the studio and have in different spots depending on the scenario that we needed. When we got on the phone with the Litepanels folks and they suggested we may be able to use 5 light panels on each 20 by, we were excited, but we still were a little bit skeptical. When we got 5 up in the air and turned them on without the 20 by, we were blown away. They were so bright. So essentially the way we've got it set up is we have 5 fixtures above each 20 by. We have 5 fixtures that are used for the windows, 1 at each window. And then we have 2 that are used for our key lights that are behind 8 bys, and then we have 3 that are on rolling stands that move about the studio depending on the scenario that we're filming. One of the huge benefits for using the Gemini 1x1 hards is the ease of use. We tied all of them in via DMX, used Ethernet to run DMX, and are operating all of them via tablet. So it's very easy for the client in case we're not available to come down for a quick filming session. They come in, they tap the tablet, all the lights come up, and they're ready to go. Using the 1x1 hards, we now have a consistent, even, and just reliable workflow.